Hello and a very warm welcome to episode 87 of the Sussex by the Sea podcast. A podcast that now covers local football in this great town of ours, as well as keeping up with all the frills and spills, highs and lows of my team, Hastings United. On the show this week, week 17 of the Hastings Report, Timothy Booth-Jones gives us Tim's takes from Hastings women's win against Bromley, with post-match from SIAN Heather, and even more post-match from Billy Wood, the women's boss. And then we've got the SBTS fan roundtable. Enjoy, grassroots football fans. Now over to me on the lonesome for week 17 of the Hastings Report. It gives me great pleasure to introduce week 17 of the Hastings Report. Unfortunately, we've got a man down. Poor old Leon PETTIT, our ESFL veteran, has got the dreaded man flu. And we all know, gents, how bad that can be. So it's just me cracking through the results this week. So let's go straight over to the SCFL results. We got the Senior Sussex Cup. Uckfield were facing Bexhill. Uckfield went 2-0 up massively against the runner play, but Bexhill came back gloriously. 2 goals from Aaron Cook, Evan Archibald and Thomas Vickers won it for Bexhill. A great win. And in the FA Vars, we had Ascot United versus Little Common. It was a bridge too far for Little Common. Ascot United running out 4-0 winners. And a big shout out to Lewis Parson, I bumped into before the game. A good little run there for Little Common, coming to its end at Ascot. This Saturday's fixtures, the Bexhill return to the Polgrove again, Midhurst and Eastbourne. Mid-table clash. Midhurst may have one eye on a cup run. Hopefully Bexhill can take advantage of that. And Little Common travel to Broadbridge Heath. Could the Common make it 3 defeats in a row for stuttering Broadbridge? I certainly hope they can. Moving on to the MSFL. NINFIELD 0, Hollington 2. No surprises there from a magnificent Hollington side. Paul Rogers and Lewis McGuigan getting the goals for Hollington. A big shout to goalkeeper Elliot Stokes, who won the man in the match for Hollington. By all accounts, a fantastic second-half defensive display to deny Lingfield. And one of the crazy stats that's out there, it's been 900 minutes since they last conceded a goal. And that was on the 3rd of September against Westfield. We then move on to the massively informed side that is Battle Town. They travel to Rotherfield, winning 3-2. Though those boys are in white-hot form, they've done it, 3-2 winners, and they go second. Callum Thompson, Tristan Mayhew, and Matthew Harding won it for Battle. What a run of form. Sedlescombe Rangers, a great result here against mid-table Ringmer. They winning 2-1. Aidan Aspinall and Ben Gardner for Sedlescombe with Bryce Taylor for Ringmer. What a result there from Sedlescombe. Nice to see. And then we move on to Westfield. Unfortunately, Westfield, they were 2-0 up. Then they let it slip a bit, did the Westies. Reigate were down to 10 men as well. Great spirit and fight from them. And a late own goal was heartbreak for Westfield. Harry Murphy and George Landas got the goals for Westfield. A real shame there. They missed out on an opportunity, but there's always next week. ESFL Prem, Bexhill Town 4, Hawkhurst United 0. Bexhill Town 8 points clear now. Unfortunately, I'm looking at the FA website. Their goals still not up, so my apologies. Other results in the ESFL Prem, Punnets Town 6, Robertsbridge United 1, 2 from Tristan Jarvis, 2 from Jamie Salvage, a goal from Mark Phillips and Casey Ham with the goals for Punnets Town, with Robertsbridge's goal from Guy Ballard. Second place Punnets win again, cementing their place up there. And here's the result. Sidley United 4, St Leonard Social 3. Mark Funnell got 2. Matthew Dan, William Whittam getting the goals for Sidley. St Leonard's Socials goals, Anthony Atkins, Che Davis and Adam Riley. They've got a few points of daylight now, Sidley United. Let's hope they can continue that down at the bottom. ESFL Division 1, Tackaway 5, Wadhurst 2. Goals from Cale Hackos, who got a couple. Jordan Harley, 2 from Toby Page. Undefeated Tackaway, miles ahead at the moment. That's it for Division 1. Obviously, all these results are affected by lots of cup games on, so not so many league games. So ESFL Division 2, Hollington reserves 1, Sedlescombe Rangers reserves 3. Well, the shock defeat for Hollington gives Sedlescombe some daylight at the bottom. They also, Sedlescombe saved an early penalty. 2 goals from Zach Boltwood and Oliver Tupney for Sedlescombe, with George Morton Devage getting the goal for Hollington reserves. What a win for Sedlescombe Rangers. ESFL Division 3, Bexhill AAC's reserves 1, Parkfield 3. Marley Jesson getting 2 for Parkfield and 1 from Craig Fullerton, winning it for Parkfield. Parkfield cement their top 2 status with another win. Hastings Comets versus Crowhurst reserves was postponed. Mountfield United 6, Westfield Thirds 2. Aaron Brindley with 2, Ben Waite with 2, Jordan Brindley and Edward Crowhurst getting the goals for Mountfield. Matt Connon and Ayrton Ellis getting the goals for Westfield. Winless Westfield remain bottom, and it's not looking good. ESFL Division 4, Parson Move Thirds 1, Hastings Athletic 3. 2 goals from Joseph Simeonian and a goal from Harley Glazier for Hastings Athletic. Parson Move Thirds goal was from Lewis Selling. In the battle of the bottom clubs, Hastings get their first win of the season, but remain bottom by 4 points. That is ESFL Division 4. Now we move on to the cup games. So, first of all, ESFL Challenge Cup. Well, here we go. Crowhurst 15, Rockinore 0. Reece Johnson getting 6. Harry Lotes with 3. 1 from Jan Bailey. A goal from Dominic Clark, Sean Leonard, Aaron Scrace, the former Sidley boss, Wesley Tate and Carl Tomlin. A massive amount of goals there. So that's the ESFL Challenge Cup. So we move on to the Sussex Bluefin Junior Challenge Cup. Pass and Move 4. The Unicorn Bognor Regis reserves 3. Pass and Move's goals from Curtis Coombs, Philip Hatch, Fraser Descali and John Joe Wright. Win it for Pass and Move. Continuing in the Bluefin Junior Cup, we've got Angmering 2, Ninfield 2. Joe Trigwell and Toby Pearce getting the goals from Ninfield. And then they won it 4-2 on penalties, did Ninfield. Great stuff as ever from Ninfield. Icklesham 0, Eastbourne Athletic 7. The less said about that, the better. It didn't look like Icklesham turned up there. Rudrick Reserves 1, Bexhill Rovers 1, and Bexhill Rovers won it 5-4 on penalties. And that is the Junior Fin Cup. Anytime I don't mention goals, it's because they've not been put up yet. Moving on to the Macron Hastings Cup. We've got Northiam 75-0, Bexhill AAC's 4, Ben Barton with a hat-trick, and James McRae getting the goals for Bexhill. Sandhurst 3, Westfield Reserves 2. James found, well, he does find the net. He found a hat-trick for Sandhurst. And for Westfield, 2 goals by Stone Cold Asher Grindle. I did ask Asher what his goals were like. One of them, he says, is a 25-yard thunder bastard from the D of the box, mate. Hit on the bounce as it got back round the corner, top bins, post and in. Was genuinely a lovely goal. I'm sure it was. And the other one was a poacher's finish from a fine cross. Great to see Asher getting the goals there. Unfortunately, not enough to keep Westfield in the Macron Cup. Moving on to the ESFL Division 3-4 Challenge Cup. Hawkhurst United reserves 3. Wellcroft Park Rangers reserves 4. Benjamin Ackhurst with 2. Aaron Wright and an OG won it for Wellcroft. Continuing on in the Lower Division Cup. Burwash 2. Ticehurst 7. Ticehurst goal. 2 from Finley Brown. 2 from Darren Nichols. A goal from Harvey Mascal, Joe Kennard and Danny McGann. For Ticehurst, the goals for Burwash from Lee Mansfield and Ruddy Skolaretis. There was also 2 reds in the second half in what was obviously quite a feisty affair. Drew Clifton, seeing red for Burwash, and Ticehurst, Ollie Skilton doing the same. And that is the week that was. Unfortunately, again, the team of the week isn't up yet. So I'll see you next week. And now we go over to Tim's takes.
It was a grey and chilly Pilot Field, the venue for Hastings United ladies' latest home game when they took on Bromley women's side on Sunday afternoon. Billy Wood had a few problems before the game getting his side on the field, but with sickness and injuries and people at work, it meant the young Asher Moody taking over in goal, but and a couple of players playing who weren't very well. In particular, Lauren Sharp turned out, even though she was feeling very much under the weather, and she played for about 15 or 20 minutes before Vix Phillips turned up from work, and she was able to go off then. But it did mean that Lauren Sharp has completed, I believe, a record number of appearances for the Hastings United women, being in the formation of Hastings United ladies team right at the start. So well done to Lauren Sharp. The team competed very well against a decent Bromley side. We were 2-0 up at half time. Charlotte Kerr scored by curling in a shot from a corner, and then a long range effort from Rosie Harris. She noticed that the keeper was out of position and found the corner of the net. 2-0 up at half time, and we were able to protect Asher Moody in goal. She didn't have much to do. In the second half, after an early flurry from Bromley, it was all Hastings United, and SIAN Heather was able to break away from the halfway line. Once she got clear of the defence, there was no one going to catch her because she's so quick, and she coolly rounded the keeper and put it in for the third goal. The fourth goal was struck home with venom by Nicole Bate-up as she ran in from the left to make it 4-0. So that win keeps Hastings United ladies at the top of the table, 3 points clear of Ashford United, who were playing another decent side, Welling. They beat them 2-1 at Homelands, and it really sets up the next game for Hastings United because they've got a tricky trip to Welling, where of course we drew there towards the end of last season and dropped 2 points, which ultimately probably cost us the league title. So it's going to be a bit of a battle next week. So hopefully we'll come back with 3 points from our trip to Welling.
Tough game today, Sean. Bromley made it hard for us, but it was a 4-0 win in the end. How was the game for you out there?
I think it started a little bit shaky at the start. We found our feet quite quickly and then played our football. We managed to get the ball out wide, we played the way we wanted to play, and then punished them for it.
Their defenders were quite useful, weren't they? 2 centre-halves, so quite good.
They were strong, which it was hard to come up against, but I think playing the way that we play, using our speed, using our width there, we punished them.
Kept very cool for that goal. Must have been a bit tense just having that run at the keeper, but you rounded her very well.
It was a long run. One of the players tripped their own player up, so I knew I had loads of time getting in there. So.
How many goals this season, Sean, so far?
That makes 20 now this season.
Last season? How many was that?
I think maybe about 20.
20, so you're doing well. Is this your third season with Hastings? Second season. Who were you with just before you came to Hastings? Probably was, yeah. You got tough game next week, Welling away. If you can win that before Christmas, really just got to keep on winning. Ready?
That's it, just keep that winning mentality. We've got it there, we've got a full squad, we've got a strong squad. We've got half of our squad's young players with some amazing talent coming through, and then you've got a mix of experience, so we've got the perfect mix.
That's freezing cold out here, Sean, so thanks a lot for those few words and good luck next week as well. Thanks a lot. Another good win for the girls, Billy, today?
Yeah, look, it was one of those games where before the game everything went wrong for us today. So it's a long story short, Lucy didn't play today because Lucy's very unwell. So we had a change of keeper today. Asher came in again for a second start. Then Lauren Sharp, unfortunately, she started today, but she's nowhere near. She should be on the pitch. She's not well. She came in. Nia pulled out last minute as well, and Jess wasn't available. And Vix's flight got delayed, which means she couldn't make it for kick-off. So when I woke up this morning, I lost 4 players, and actually was scraping around about 11, 12 players to get through the game. But the strength of the squad showed through today, because ultimately we got the 3 points, 4 goals. Vix, I've got to give a big shout out to Vix actually. A lot of other people would have kind of, if they're late to something, would have said, oh, well, I can't make it. She didn't. She got here as soon as she could, and she got in that pitch first half. And relieved Lauren Sharp of her duties, even though Sharpie didn't have a bad game at all, but she, like I say, she just couldn't breathe out there. So,
what was it? Was that Lauren Sharp's record appearance? That's good. Brilliant.
Sharpie's a great story, really. Like, we've evolved so much in 3 years. We really have. I think for the better, but we have evolved, and players have come, players have gone. But Sharpie was there for the first ever trial. She trialled for the club. She wasn't asked to come to the club. Got in the squad. Got in the first squad. Was delighted to even be in the squad, and she's been ever present ever since. And we wouldn't be without her. We love having her here. She's so important to the team.
Asher did well as well, didn't she?
Yeah,
Excellent. Vix had a storming game. So Bromley are one of the better sides in the league. So 4-0, very good. And up at Welling next week, that will be a good test as well.
Yeah. Welling's one of those places that doesn't hold fond memories because of what happened that day. Yeah. Well, obviously we didn't lose, but we drew, which ultimately cost us the league title.
Yeah.
But I think we're a different team now. A lot of changed faces, as people keep telling me. And there'll be a couple of new faces on Sunday as well in the squad. So, I'm excited about Welling, but I'm even more excited that we got through a tricky challenge today when it could have gone sour.
Well done, Billy, and let's hope we keep on winning.
Thank you, Tim.
Cheers.
And now we go over to the SBTS fan roundtable. Many thanks to the returning Radio Carder himself, Adam Carder, and Johnny Wills for making it happen.
I think you need to do your hair, mate, to be honest.
Yeah, like what wig?
I think if you were to come on with a wig, I don't think anyone would notice, John.
No, they probably wouldn't.
They wouldn't. Right, it gives me great pleasure to have the wonderful Adam Carder and John Wills here for the Fan Roundtable this week, episode 87. A decent week for the U's. A couple of points gained in matches that probably we could have won, so a little bit frustrating. But we're also going to talk Radio Carder's return. So first of all, chaps, shall we talk about Bognor?
Well, sadly, I wasn't there, so I was following on Twitter. But it certainly sounded like it was a well-thought point.
Well, as I was the only one there, a wonderful train journey with the loyal Fat Hastings fans. It was a slightly early beginning one, so I was slightly...
You won't remember any of it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a wonderful journey up to the game, frequenting a few places. The Dog and Duck was worth a mention in Bognor, very nice place, which allowed us to have a little bit of a sing-song in there, which went down well with the other customers. A game that I have to say, stodgy game, not many chances. It just was destined for a draw, really. Both teams probably a little bit disappointed that they didn't get the win, but both teams didn't really deserve to win it either. So other than that, it was nice to see the new lad, Jamal Hector Hingram, get a little bit of a run out. It's took nearly a month to get international clearance because he was playing for St Johnstone. Was it St Johnstone? Yeah, St Johnstone a while ago. So and he looked lively. He did look lively. It looks like he needs to get his shooting boots on, but that will come with time. He gets himself in the right places. My highlight of the trip was probably watching Matt and Kev having a set two on the train. It was wonderful entertainment. They kissed and made up at the end, and they were trying to go out for beers together. It almost got a little bit Brokeback Mountain. I posted something up on Facebook, the picture of Kev giving Matt the Evils. It was a wonderful picture. But yeah, much love to Kev and Matt for that one. Other than that, chaps, you got anything to say about Bognor?
No, I was listening to their commentary, and they gave their keeper, I think, the man of the match. So apparently he made 3 top-class saves. Does that fit in with what you saw after your drunken train ride? I mean,
yeah, no, he was all right. We did have a few chances, and so did they. And it was just one of those games, John. It was decent chances, but not really clear-cut ones, if you get what I mean.
No, and defensively, it sounds like we had a bit of work, but was solid. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the usual sort of Finn O'Mara being back. Unfortunately, it looks like Craig Stone's going to be out for a while, but Finn O'Mara's fitted in really well. I think we both agree. And then we're obviously going to move on to Canvey, where we had a good game as well. It was fantastic to see Finn come in and just and look so settled, which was nice. And obviously Breffo, I don't see anyone getting that shirt off him this season. So he's an absolute shoe-in the team. Defensively, obviously, and then obviously got Kane Penn, who's just been a revelation. I think we all agree with that one, don't we? I mean, he's so much of our stuff comes through him on that side, and it was. I mean, we're missing Sammy Hasler a little bit, but Jack Dixon stepped up a bit. He's having to do a lot more now, and showing not only his solid defensive game, but that he can ping in a few passes, because it used to be just Sam Hasler that was doing that, wasn't it? So Jack Dixon going through his range a bit, but that's probably all that I remember. John, you're asking a lot there.
Okay, yes, yeah. I did hear, wasn't there, one of the barmaids was a bit grumpy, and was it Matty that said to her, "I take it this isn't a happy hour then"?
I think that was Ben. I think that could have been Ben. It was one that was brilliant. I have to say, even the Bognor fans laughed at that one. That was quite funny. It could have been. Was it Matt or Ben? I don't know. Okay, I'm a bit sketchy on that one.
Yeah.
If Matt or Ben's listening, they can tell us.
Sounds like a hard-earned point there, travelling away to Bognor. It's not a bad result, is it? I don't think. Although they've not performed maybe as they would have expected this season so far, it's still a pretty decent point. That.
And we took a fair few as well. We took a fair few, which was good to see. Lots of faces there. So that's Bognor. So we move on now to Canvey. So let us set this up. So in between Bognor and Canvey, obviously, Mr. Carder here, who's been sitting here nice and quietly, made an announcement. Unfortunately, he was going to have to pack the radio in. And, well, was that they say that 24 hours is a long time in politics. Tell us what happened, Adam, and obviously a lot of the messages you got and support to keep the radio going. Please tell us.
Yeah, so basically, the long and story short leading up to it is that I've left my current job. So with that, obviously, it means I'm now down money. So I couldn't afford to keep the radio going. It was a lot of travel away games, like a lot of petrol money, diesel money. There's also obviously server side of things, licensing side of things. There's a lot of additional fees that was just going to be outside of what I could afford. Yeah. I'd looked into like getting a couple of sponsors for the radio, but like to help cover costs, but it just didn't feel like it was working. So I posted up about it. I had a couple of messages from people saying, sort of like, how much is it? What do we need to do? Keep it going. And it sort of all of a sudden come to a point where I was getting, I sort of, at one point I had 30 messages open on Facebook and Twitter of people saying, how do we keep the radio going? So obviously it's something that people want. It's something that people need. And then Billy Wood then messages me and says, what's happened, what's going on, and so on and so forth. And along with Pat McCrossan, and I sort of explained to them both, and Pat was like, leave it with me for a few minutes. I want to go off and have a chat. Apparently went off and he had a phone call with some of the directors to have a sort of discussion about it and that. And Hastings United have agreed that it's such an invaluable service that like they just feel that it's the way that Hastings needs to go going forward. Like being able to give to the fans that can't make the games, especially away games or like with train strikes and things like that, sort of like they can't get to the games and stuff, which is totally understandable. So Hastings United have stepped up and are funding it till the end of the season, which then gives me time to sort of find some sponsors. Sponsors are coming, which is good. There's a few companies that sponsor Hastings United who also want to get in on the radio and then have adverts on the radio, so they'll be able to sort of sponsor and then help with the costs sort of going forward. So, but big kudos to Pat McCrossan and to Billy Wood for making it happen very quickly. It was literally within 2 hours of me posting the announcement. There was a plan in place, and a receipt of something that I'd paid for, and instantly the club I needed to pay for, and instantly the club like made sure I had the money that day to pay it, and it was instant. So we was good to go. And one of the directors, Darren Burney, he was listening in last night for the radio for Canvey Island, and like he was sort of saying on there, just like because he couldn't make the game, just to be able to sit there and have it on, listening to it while he's working was just a godsend to him, and then let alone all the other people that are listening as well. So it is clearly a valuable asset to the, a valuable service to the people and to everyone, and the club know that and want to make sure that it carries on going. So they have
stuff. Well, there's some questions. I've got some serious questions to ask you. You've obviously got, you're saying Billy, Pat McCrossan, and obviously Darren Burney, but I'm a little bit worried. Pat McCrossan, do you believe that he might have some creative control? Is he going to force you to play some of his choice song picks when you're on the radio? I mean, or...
Well, Pat McCrossan actually co-commentated with me last night. He was in with me for the whole game as well. And at half-time, he wanted Iron Maiden playing, as does Pat. And he wanted to play Iron Maiden just to get at Malk Stone. Of course, Melkstone doesn't. Melkstone prefers some of the other older rock, not so much the heavier metal rock like Iron Maiden. But no, I didn't. I didn't play any Iron Maiden. I will play Iron Maiden for him, but I will play it when I feel he's deserved it. And he was great last night. Pat he was really good. He helped a bit of filler, and just it was really good. And I really want to get a co-commentator every week, a different person, or if somebody wants to come in on a regular basis. But I think it'll be so great to have somebody else in the office with me to be talking and doing the commentary and such like. I mean, Canvey Island yesterday was a great game, because it was a point that we deserved 3 points for, but to actually commentate on it about how the possession that Hastings had and the attacking and everything like that, it was so great. So and having Pat there was just an even better.
Did he have a massive mullet on? Was he reacting Pat Sharp? Was he like woo woo? I mean, what?
Not so much Pat Sharp, more Chris Kamara. So, but no, it was good. It was good, and
unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable, Jeff. It really was.
Yeah. Okay, well, you mentioned Canvey Island. Obviously, all of us were there. John, do you want to give your thoughts on the game before me and Adam kick in?
Yeah, it seemed looked like the whole game was going to hinge on that first half goalmouth scramble, where we had a few people trying to put the ball into the net. They were blocking and saving. Ball was kicked out, and on the way out of the penalty box, it seemed to strike a hand of a defender. A big penalty shout, but obviously not given. And I think there was a bit of preoccupation with that situation, and ball fell kindly, didn't it, to one of their lone striker, I think, and don't think he was far off the halfway line, but he lofted it over Louis, who'd come up the pitch a bit. So it seemed like it was all going to hinge on that, where we should be 1-0 up, and suddenly we're 1-0 down, with possibly a bit of injustice with the penalty appeal. But
the Millard twins did say it was a penalty. I didn't see it. They said it was a Stonewall penalty. So
yeah, and I think apart from that, you were kind of thinking as the final whistle approached that we looked just as good as them. We were creating more. We were holding the ball more. And, it was going to be one of those devastating evenings, just seemed so unfair the whole way the bounce of the ball we got. But fortunately, they kept pressing. The longer the game went on, the more we looked like we've got to score. We've got to score some, and we did through Finn after the corner.
Yeah, it was a wonderful goal, wasn't it? I mean, I know we all went crazy, didn't we, John, when we got that one in?
Yes, yeah.
What was it like to commentate it, Adam?
Oh, it was just as crazy with me and Pat up in the box when that actually went in. I mean, as far as the game was going, we just felt like both me and Pat said, it just doesn't feel like it's our night. Everything was going against us. Like, if a Canvey Island player had a slight touch on them, they were going down and getting a free kick for it. And yet when our players were sort of getting fouled, the referee was just waving nothing. And it just felt like nothing was going our way at all. And yet for then to get that sort of final corner, sort of we're already deep into injury time, and just to see Finn O'Mara sneak up at the back and just slot it into the bottom corner, it was just marvellous scenes to see down there. And then all of a sudden, it all kicked off on the in the dugouts between the two managers. And
did it? I didn't see that. Oh
yeah, it did. Obviously, Gaz and Meany, they both were celebrating in front of Canvey Island, and they I don't think they appreciated. They started kicking off. It all started kicking off, but a credit to Hastings. Right to the very end, they kept fighting. And the only credit I can give Canvey Island was defensively, they were solid. They were solid defensively. They had 3 attacks on goal for the whole game, and they scored one. Louis pulled off an amazing save. Like,
Yeah, it was Danny Parish as well.
Yeah.
That was who could have snuck back and scored against us.
Exactly, and but it was nice to see Danny Parish back, and obviously he left us on good terms, and it's nice to have him back. So like, see him back.
As long as he's not scoring, as long as he's not scoring.
Exactly. Yeah. He didn't score, so that's just it, But like I would have said that Hastings had at least 70% of the possession yesterday, but it just didn't feel like it was going our way until that last few minutes. And even when I even sort of like looked when they was putting the board up to say how much time at the end, and I sort of both me and Pat turned around and said, the way it feels, Hastings could have an extra 90 minutes and just not be able to get that goal. But as it turned out, it was 5 minutes to get that point that we so deserved, but yet we should have had 3. But it was a great game to commentate on, and I think the only thing that really let the whole thing down was the red card right at the end for one of the Canby players for a silly handball. Like, from both mine and Pat's positions, when we was looking at it, it's very silly because he kicked the ball, but the ref hadn't blown his whistle, so he then picked the ball back up to respot it, and then was given a second yellow and a red, even though he thought the ball wasn't live in play yet. So just one of those things. Yeah.
I mean, it was a very frustrating game for me. I felt that because, we've spoke about it quite a bit, that we're not far off sort of top 5 team. And it's just those little, that we're creating those chances. We're either not putting them away or we're quite wasteful up front, it's defensively we're excellent, very well organised team. Obviously we're blessed with Meany and Elphick and the gang, in terms of all the work they do behind the scenes. It's just, we I don't know, we had so many chances in that first, was it half an hour, 20 minutes?
Yeah, really, until they scored that goal, and then it sort of like they then seemed to sort of like tighten up their defence a bit, but it weren't enough.
Yeah, and then I have to say that second half, obviously, I'm always behind the boys and trying to, sing and everything, but I thought it was done. I just thought this isn't our day.
Exactly, especially when they cleared that ball off the line at the end with that header. It's just, and that shot as well from Breffo, his shot, great save from their keeper, but again, you're just feeling like it's not going to fall our way. But then, rocking up in his Citroen Zara, who had to score it? Of course, it would have been O'Mara. Exactly. And
obviously, shout to Johnny Wills, who caught it on video. He's caught quite a few things on video, a lot of them that he keeps to himself. But
a lot of you read about and claim honours for.
Yeah, all right. But a magnificent goal, and I think it was me and Matty. We run off down, we run off to in a direction. We didn't know what to do with ourselves. It was it was beautiful stuff.
It really was. Well, the other 2 players to me that stood out in yesterday's game were both Tom Chalmers and Kane Penn. Both of those players, Tom Chalmers got the man of the match, but
he always gets the man of the match. Is there shenanigans going on there?
I don't know, because it's the other office that picks it. It's Andy Q, isn't it? And his sponsors are the ones who. Well,
he's a mankin. He's dodgy.
Yeah, but you got to give TC his due. He was the one who fought hard to get that corner that we then went and scored from. He went running after that ball when it was rolling out and saved it. So
yeah, maybe he earned it this time. But say Kane Penn. Go on, sorry, John, please.
I thought Jake Elliott had an excellent game, bringing the ball forward. As we were pushing for that equaliser, I think he put in a very good shift.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was key when we made those substitutions where we brought on Ben Pope, Chinadu, Sam Adams, and went a bit more direct. And I think what's good about having Chinadu on is he is very direct, and just I think we caused them more problems. I do feel that we were passing it sideways a lot with earlier in the game, and I think they just sat in a low block, didn't they? And just soaked it up mostly. Once they got that goal, at 0-0, we were all over them. It's just when we went 1-0 down, I felt it was a little bit too easy for them. Am I being harsh?
I think so, but I think at the same time, defensively, there was times when Louis Rogers was sitting on the halfway line as the only man, because they had 10 men behind our front 2, and it was just, there was no way through. And me and Pat at one point counted 34 passes leading up before the ball went out that Hastings had. And we was dominating possession, but we just couldn't go forward because there was no options. Every time, like, they looked like there was a player on, there was like Canvey Island were there and to do it, and it was just, but Canvey then got tired in about the 75th minute. They seemed to get tired a bit from the constant running back, that they started leaving a couple of players up front, and that gave us more opportunity. So, but
what about you? What do you reckon, John?
Yeah, I mean, it's how football has changed. When you were young, it was about playing sideways. I mean, the idea of that is keeping possession, looking for gaps, but you definitely need plenty of movement in front of you to find those gaps and strategies to move forward. It's not like punting the ball up to Leslie Ferdinand, was it?
Ah, super Les. Well, that's what at QPR, we used to pass it sideways all the time. Ray Wilkins, nice little dinky passes. And then when we wanted to score a goal, lob it to Les. He'll sort them out.
Defined midfield spaces then, didn't it? But yeah, Butch Wilkins, what a player.
Oh, no, love him.
Not as good as Bowles, though.
Yeah. Well, I never saw Stan Bowles play. I saw Ray Wilkins play a lot, though.
Just to say, really, that their form team, they've beaten some good teams. I don't know whether they still are after the draw, but they were top of the current form table.
Were they really?
Yeah. So it was, before, when you're thinking about it and what position they are, you'd be more than happy with the point. But then you look on the balance of play and you think, no, we're actually good enough to beat them and take those 3 points. So, but that is kind of promising to think in that way. I think we're on the fringe of the playoff places. We've got a game in hand on most teams above us. It's really, really promising, and the actual form of the side has been consistent. A couple of low patches, but when you think about it, how many really bad games can you recall? When you think of it, the 3-0 defeat was our only major defeat, and that was because we had players sent off early on in the match. So it's at the beginning of the season, you think it's dreamland where we are. What's been achieved to go up a division, and it's such a faster and more physical division, and we've held our own, and we're ideal to move forward now.
Yeah, I mean, we're just maybe a couple players away from being an excellent side. I mean, we're good. I suppose you can always look and think, well, if you tinker with this or you tinker with that, then results could be different. But we're there or thereabouts, aren't we? There's and entertaining with it as well. That's the key. It's not like we're just some stodgy long ball merchants or something. It's we try and play our football with obviously, as you were saying, Jake Elliott and Kane Penn. Most games are storming up the pitch. You know what I mean? We do try and play some football.
But you kind of, the other fantastic thing is how defensively sound we are, and are we still? I think we're second or something in goals conceded as well. We might even be first. I'm not sure, but that's amazing, really. When you go up a league, and it's credit to Gary Alfick and John Meany, really, isn't it? The strategy they.
Yeah. I want to just quickly mention Gary Elphick, actually, because we had a nice conversation with him after the game. And this is for anyone listening or watching this, is please, fellow fans, if you can, stay after the game. It's not, you don't have to get trolleyed or anything. Come in, have a cup of tea, have a Coca-Cola. The players are there, the coaching staff are there. It's great catch up. It really is. And Gary didn't have to give his time. He gave us, we were chatting for him for about half an hour, weren't we, John?
Yeah, I don't think he could get. He wanted to go. We
did have him in an arm lock, and you had him by his head. But
yeah, it was really nice, and it's what a club, where you can stand in there and you feel relaxed. And we had just a open chat with him, didn't we? And it's in interesting to get his insight on how things are going and
Yeah.
what's important and valuable. It's nice you've got a group of players that feel, happy to mix with the fans in that way. It's a real closeness, I think. And it shows, I think, after every game, the fans are there clapping them off the pitch every game, win, lose or draw. And the way they come over and show their appreciation at the end of the game as well is something that brings fans and players together, I think.
Yeah. Right then.
100%.
Right, let's look forward to Saturday. So it's Bowers and Pitsy.
Mm-hmm.
And they're, I'm sorry to say it, they're bloody useless, right? They're in the bottom three. I think they haven't won in 6. Okay, so I'm not putting a bock on anything here, but I'm smelling 3 delicious points.
You've just put this on it then.
Well, they can all blame me. I don't care. Do you see us playing the same side? Do you see Jamal staying up front, or do you think they're going to maybe put him to the bench?
I think personally they're going to give him another shot. I reckon they'll put him on. I think he had a really good game yesterday, and I think it'll be, sort of like silly, not especially after bringing him in. And the only way he's going to gel into the team is with time on the pitch. So I think they will keep him going. I think I personally would like to see him and Ben Pope up front together, see how they work together, because I had a lot of running. He was doing a lot of running. So I think between him and Pope, he's sort of going towards each other. I reckon they would play really well together.
Well, we've got options there, haven't we? We have got options. So, John, what do you think?
I don't know. Perhaps we saw it from a different angle. I think he looks like a player that's been out of first team action for a while, and he needs time to get back in and settle in and see how he interlinks with the players around him. And might find that there's a bit of chemistry that develops there. So yeah, I mean, I think it's the same with Del Boy, isn't it? He needs sometimes a player needs a goal, and then the confidence comes in and they have that self-belief back. But then, that's going to come with more games, more, I think. Del Pinto, I meant.
Yeah, we knew. Well, I was for a second, I didn't know who you were on about, but yeah. No, Del Pinto. I mean, what do we think of Del Pinto?
What do you
think of him at the moment?
Is
he justifying his place in the team, is what I'm asking.
Yeah, I think so.
I think Mackenzie's, he got stuck in right from a couple of games in, and suddenly he was looking like, he's got that confidence in himself, and hopefully that will come with Del Pinto and Jamal.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, I think with Pinto, I think he just he's another one that I think will gel really well with the team, but I think that he just maybe needs a slightly different position on the pitch. Sometimes I think he feels a bit lost in where he's playing. So I don't know. I can certainly see him being a very valuable asset to the team. I just think maybe he needs to try a different position, maybe more centralised.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if I would look at it, I would say Del Pinto stays on the wing. On the other wing, I would probably try and put. I'd maybe say, do you put TC there or do you put Chinadu there? I think Nori needs to come on as an impact sub these days. I would say that Jamal goes to the bench and we put Ben Pope up front again, but I don't know. Maybe that's short-term thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I still think that Hastings would play better in a sort of 4-3-3 format. So 4 at the back, 3 midfield, 3 up front. That's the way
You're just the tinker man, you are. You're Claudio Ranieri, you are.
Maybe. But no, I do. I think that if we could have sort of 3 up front, sort of like proper sort of flat 3 rather than like diamond 3 or anything, I think we would, have more options, like especially going forward, because we do seem to hold the ball in midfield a lot and don't get it forward enough.
Oh, he's been in the main stand too long, John. He's been in the main stand too long.
Football has changed. You don't have static strikers anymore. You've got a lot of high work rate needed to win that midfield battle. If you stick people up front, then you lose out the battle further back. defence starts from the front of the line as well, so you see nowadays you've got that athleticism and people tackling back and doing positional work, even got the ball. You can have the 2-10s system, or and I think what I'm kind of comforted by is the more you listen to Meany and Alfick, they've got such high coaching pedigree that only them sometimes we look on and we'll think, oh, why this or why that, but they're excellent coaching team there, and they know all the bit we don't know about players' attitudes, players' form, their strengths, their weaknesses, how that fits into the system that they've spent ages trying to coach the whole team into. And it's interesting for us. We all got opinions, and
as Clint Eastwood said, opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one.
Just to obviously let people know, I personally won't be doing the radio this weekend because I've got a prior engagement, but you will have a guest commentator on this week, the lovely Sue Gallop.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
Who is doing the commentary this week. So I'm meeting up with her on Friday before I head off for my engagement. But I'm meeting her up on Friday and sort of showing her how the setup works and everything like that. And she will be your commentator. Whether she's going to have a co-commentator, I don't know. Maybe she'll have Pat again.
Is she going to moan about Charlton Athletic? That's guaranteed.
It's guaranteed. I mean, we will see. But yeah. So this week, I mean, I'll be listening in most definitely. But yeah, Sue will be doing the radio. Doing it.
Excellent. Yeah. Good on Sue.
Yeah, put a call to arms out, and then if anyone wants to join me for the Averley game, the away game at Averley, as a co-commentator, let me know. I'm looking for someone else to come in. Obviously, I have 2 microphones, so we can if someone wants
to turn that down. Who can turn 90 minutes with Adam Carder down?
My missus.
On that note, right, John, Adam, thank you very much, and I shall see you. I won't see you at the game, and I won't hear you at the game either. But, no. You'll be there in spirit.
I will be in the affluent voice of Sue Gallop. So, but no, it's
and no trolling Sue. No one message Sue and start talking about Charlton Athletic because we don't want to set her off.
She's not going to have the live chat open. So,
oh, is she not? Oh, okay.
No,
because I would be tempted. Oh, how's the Charlton Athletic doing? Just to start her off.
Yeah, I don't think Charlton are playing, which is why she's going to be at Hastings.
And they've sacked their manager again. Anyway, chaps, take care. I shall see you at the game, and I shall see you and hear you at a game quite soon, Adam.
Cool. Thank you very much, guys. Yeah. Take care.
Take care. Yeah. See you, mate. That's it for another week, grassroots football fans. Whoever you're going to watch this week, make sure you're loud and proud. As ever, if you want to get in contact with the show, or have any suggestions, or want to get in on our weekly roundtables, that email again is hufcpod@gmail.com, or on the Twitter, which is @hufcpodcast. You can get this podcast on all major platforms, be it Google Podcasts, Audible, iTunes, Spotify, or Amazon Music. And we have a jam-packed YouTube channel, chock-a-block, full of video interviews and episodes from the podcast. Please, please, please give it a look, a comment or a like, but definitely subscribe. It's all free. All that's left for me to say is, I've been your host, Chris Laverick. Hope you have a good week and see you at the game.